We're talking about the 23mm f1.4 and the 90mm f2.0. That is 35 and 135 equivalent on a full frame system. I'll break down why these lenses work so well together, show loads of example photos, and share tips on how to make the most of these lenses or this lens combination, as well as real-world examples, POV styles from the streets. Okay, here is a potential subject. But first, let's talk briefly about the lenses, starting with this one. It's a classic street photography lens, the 23mm or the 35mm equivalent. It's I would say this is my go-to whenever I'm out and about shooting my street photography, because I can capture the energy. It's very well for capturing split-second moment when you have your camera ready, and generally the atmosphere of the streets in a natural way. Key features I think is worth mentioning for this lens: it has a very wide aperture at f1.4, enables you to create a very good background separation to your subject. It's also very good for night street photography, and I think it's really good to capture environmental portraits if you're into that kind of stuff in an urban environment. I absolutely love it. I have so much variety, or so much things I can do with this lens. Like I said, it's the typical street photography lens. For weaknesses, I can't really find anything else than its price. It's very expensive, but it is what it is. It costs to have premium glass. Now let's talk about the 90mm f2.0, and I'm very impressed by this. It's my current favorite zoom lens. I've enjoyed using this so much, but key highlights to mention is that it's a telephoto powerhouse, and it's not really that big. It fits like so in my hand. It's a bit bulky, of course, but that's to be expected for a telephoto lens like this one. Features to mention for this one is it's very, very sharp, and it creates this awesome background blur. It has a lovely, lovely bokeh. Ideal uses from a street photographer perspective: I would say it's fairly stealthy, as you can keep your distance and still capture some really nice candid moments without being intrusive. And you can also get some really nice detail shots after you have done working the scene with the 23mm. Weaknesses for this lens, I said it already, but it's still big since it's a telephoto lens and it's quite expensive. This one from Fuji is also a few years old now. Worth mentioning, I don't think that really matters because it's just a super high quality glass right there. I wouldn't recommend this for beginners. It's more like a specialized lens, so if you're a seasoned street photographer that wants to give your images or give your style a bit more punch or a wider variety of images, it's a good complement to your existing arsenal of, I assume, wider angle lenses. But for beginners, don't go for this lens. It's too big, too expensive, and it requires experience, I think. So why do these lenses work so well together? And I think the focal lengths, they really complement each other. This combo gives you the freedom to switch between capturing wide scenes and go into detail mode without carrying too much gear, and that's something I really value. Switching between these lenses encourages you to see the scene with a different perspective, playing around with composition and depth. You can switch to the 90mm to get the more planned shots or detail shots, to get a wider variety of images from the same scene to tell a better story. Now here are some tips to use this combo effectively. I typically use this one first, the 23mm, to capture the whole scene. Then I switch over to the 90mm to get the details. This requires you to plan a bit more, so I'd rather have the whole scene and get everything in it with the 23mm to have that establishing shot, then go over to detail mode with 90mm. I would also recommend you to practice switching between the lenses on your camera so that you are ready as fast as possible to capture those split-second moments. And I recommend you to carry this setup in a small bag for easy access. I have a sling bag from Peak Design, which is just awesome for my everyday camera adventures. Alrighty then, to recap this video, I think this is a really good powerhouse combination for street photography. And if you're getting yourself into street photography or the world of prime lenses, the 23mm f1.4 is just a powerhouse. And if you're a seasoned street photographer that wants to get more out of your street sessions, this will definitely help you enhance your images and help you tell a better story with your image sets, with the detail shots and the candid street portraits you can get with this one right here. And if you want to see how I do my street photography, you can watch this video next, where I take you with me in the field POV style. And if you aren't already, please do subscribe to the channel. That helps me a lot, and leave a like on this video. And I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.